February 27th is not a quiet day in the sky. It is a pressure point, a crack in the surface of reality where something long restrained demands movement. At exactly 11:20 a.m., Mars in Aquarius forms a perfect square to Uranus in Taurus, 90 degrees, a cosmic standoff, not fluid, not negotiable. This is fixed energy colliding with fixed energy. Mars represents raw will, instinct, the fire that says, "I move." In Aquarius, that fire refuses outdated systems. It questions authority. It rebels against stagnation. It demands authenticity over approval. Uranus represents disruption, shock, awakening. In Taurus, since 2018, it has been quietly destabilizing our foundations: money, security, the body, the illusion of safety. It does not destroy randomly. It exposes where we built comfort on compromise. When these two forces clash, the result is not gradual evolution, it is ignition. Fixed signs do not bend under pressure. They endure, they hold, they persist until they snap. That snapping is the breakthrough. This square is the cosmic detonator, the moment when the life you have been tolerating can no longer contain the life that wants to emerge. The friction you feel is not chaos for its own sake. It is accumulated truth demanding expression. Mars in Aquarius says, "I will no longer wait." Uranus in Taurus says, "Your foundation is already shifting." Together, they create a voltage surge between identity and security, between vision and comfort, between who you are becoming and what you have been clinging to. You may feel this as restlessness, irritability, a sudden intolerance for anything artificial. Situations that felt manageable yesterday may feel suffocating today. This is not instability. This is clarity arriving at high speed. Think of it as tectonic plates grinding beneath the surface of your life. The ground feels steady until it doesn't. The crack was always there. Now it becomes visible. Since 2018, Uranus has been slowly rewiring what stability means to you. Perhaps your relationship to money has changed. Perhaps your body has demanded new awareness. Perhaps your definition of safe has dissolved. Now Mars lights the fuse. This is not about reckless destruction. It is about conscious rebellion. It is about refusing to betray your own evolution. The square forces a question. Are you living from inherited security or embodied truth? Because when Mars activates Uranus, suppression becomes physically uncomfortable. The body reacts. The nervous system buzzes. Sleep shifts. Appetite changes. You feel charged, electric, as if something inside you has been defibrillated back to life. This transit does not create new tension. It reveals where tension has been stored. It brings unconscious friction into conscious awareness, and awareness changes everything. On this day, you may witness sudden revelations, a conversation that exposes truth, a financial shift that reveals fragility, a surge of courage that surprises even you. This is breakthrough energy. But breakthrough requires pressure. A butterfly does not drift out of its chrysalis. It pushes, it strains, it fights the shell that once protected it. The discomfort you feel is not punishment, it is emergence. This is the moment where you move from passive endurance to active participation. The sky is not asking you to explode your life impulsively. It is asking you to recognize where your soul has outgrown its container. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. The fire is not the problem. The suppression was. Breathe through the intensity. Observe where you feel resistance. Notice what feels intolerable now that once felt manageable. The crack in the system is not your failure. It is your freedom knocking. This transit does not whisper, it jolts. The Mars-Uranus square delivers three primary breakthroughs. They do not unfold gradually. They erupt when the internal threshold has been crossed. The first breakthrough is the shattering of false security. There are structures in your life that once protected you, a relationship that offered comfort, a job that paid the bills, a routine that kept you predictable and safe. Over time, protection quietly turned into confinement. Under this square, compromises that once felt tolerable begin to feel physically unbearable. You may notice a tightening in your chest when you say yes to something you mean no to. You may feel sudden irritation toward dynamics you previously excused. This is not moodiness, it is alignment recalibrating. Externally, this can manifest as a financial shift, a revelation from a partner, or a professional disruption that exposes instability beneath the surface. What looked solid reveals cracks. The instinct may be to restore control immediately. Resist that urge. The collapse is informational. It shows you where your foundation was built on fear of change rather than truth. When false security breaks, authentic stability becomes possible. The second breakthrough is the reclamation of physical vitality. Uranus in Taurus works through the body. Mars activates the nervous system. Together, they create electricity in your physiology. You may feel restless, overstimulated, unable to sleep. Your muscles may hold tension without clear cause. Your system feels charged, as if plugged into a higher voltage outlet. This is dormant life force returning. For years, you may have functioned on autopilot. Routine replaced aliveness. Obligation replaced desire. Now your body refuses numbness. You might feel a spontaneous urge to change your appearance, rearrange your space, move furniture at midnight, go for an intense workout, or dance with no plan. These impulses are not random. They are attempts to circulate energy that can no longer remain stagnant. If suppressed, the charge becomes anxiety. If expressed consciously, it becomes clarity. The body is not betraying you, it is rebooting you. The third breakthrough is the leap into authentic selfhood. This is individuation in real time. There comes a moment when the fear of being fully seen becomes smaller than the pain of staying reduced. You realize that shrinking yourself to maintain comfort has cost you vitality. This realization can arrive in a flash, an internal sentence that lands with finality. I cannot continue like this. Externally, this may look like setting a boundary that shocks someone, declining an opportunity that once seemed ideal, launching an unconventional idea that others dismissed, walking away from a safe path but misaligned. The square does not create rebellion for drama. It creates separation from what no longer resonates. The key distinction is this: impulsive reactivity seeks relief from tension. Courageous response acts in alignment with truth. Under this transit, both impulses feel similar. Both are fast, both are intense. The difference is clarity. Before acting, pause. Breathe deeply. Let the initial surge move through your nervous system. If the desire to act remains steady after the wave passes, it is likely authentic. If it fades once the adrenaline settles, it was reaction. Mars demands action. Uranus demands authenticity. Together, they ask you to move, but not blindly. This is not about burning your life down. It is about refusing to keep decorating a structure that no longer fits your spirit. Pressure is not the enemy. It is the signal that expansion is overdue. This square perfects at 28 degrees of Aquarius and Taurus. 28 degrees is not casual territory. It sits at the edge of completion, the final stretch before a sign dissolves into the next. Energy here feels urgent, concentrated, almost impatient. There is no more time for subtle adjustments. The lesson must crystallize. Earlier this month, a solar eclipse occurred at this same degree of Aquarius. An eclipse plants seeds in shadow. It rearranges internal wiring before visible events catch up. You may not have noticed what shifted on that day. It may have felt quiet, reflective, even ambiguous. But seeds were planted. Now Mars arrives like a match to dry timber. What was seeded internally demands expression externally. What you sensed intuitively now confronts you materially. The eclipse whispered, Mars declares. This is activation. Eclipses are cosmic resets. They close timelines and open new ones. When a later transit strikes the exact eclipse degree, it acts as a pressure plate in the architecture of fate. Step on it, and the mechanism engages. You may notice that themes from earlier in the month resurface with intensity. A conversation left unfinished, an insight you tried to rationalize away, a desire you felt but did not act on. The square forces continuation. There is also symbolic language embedded in this degree. The Sabian image associated with this point is a butterfly emerging from a chrysalis. Notice something essential about that image. The butterfly does not glide out effortlessly. It must push against resistance. The struggle strengthens its wings. Without that pressure, it cannot fly. The discomfort you feel now is functional. If you attempt to avoid the pressure entirely, you delay emergence. If you engage the pressure consciously, you accelerate transformation. Fixed signs hold energy for long periods. Taurus preserves. Leo stabilizes identity. Scorpio guards emotional intensity. Aquarius protects ideology. When 28 degrees of a fixed sign activates, it represents the moment holding becomes impossible. Containment ends. If you have planets near 28 degrees of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius, the activation becomes personal. The closer the degree, the louder the call. The life area ruled by that planet demands revision. This is not random volatility. It is timed release. And there is another layer. Shortly after this square perfects, the Sun aligns with the North Node in Pisces. The North Node represents directional growth, evolution, the unfamiliar path that leads forward. Pisces dissolves ego rigidity and invites surrender to intuitive guidance. This means that immediately after disruption, destiny whispers. First the crack, then the compass. You may feel destabilized and guided at the same time, shaken yet strangely certain. The old dissolves while a subtle inner knowing grows stronger. The key phrase for this alignment is simple. This matters to me. Not what matters to your parents, not what matters to your audience, not what preserves image or avoids criticism. What matters to you. When you privately acknowledge that truth, you align with the North Node current. You shift from reacting to circumstances into participating with intention. This is sacred timing. The square breaks stagnation. The nodal conjunction offers direction. Together, they move you from passive endurance into conscious authorship. You are not being pushed randomly. You are being positioned precisely. Now we look at where this lightning strikes in your chart. Listen for your rising sign first. If you do not know it, listen for your sun. We begin with the fixed axis itself, the epicenter. Taurus and Scorpio. Taurus, this square activates your 1st and 10th houses if you are rising, or your identity and public role if sun. Uranus has been rewriting who you are since 2018. Mars now challenges your career direction, reputation, and long-term ambition. A professional shift may feel sudden, but internally it has been building for years. You cannot maintain an external image that contradicts your internal evolution. This is personal reinvention meeting public consequence. Scorpio. The tension hits your 7th and 4th houses. Partnerships and home foundations are under pressure. A relationship dynamic may reveal imbalance. A living situation may no longer reflect who you are becoming. Emotional security built on silence begins to fracture. You are being asked to choose authenticity over emotional control. Now the second fixed polarity, Leo and Aquarius. Leo, this activates your 10th and 7th houses. Authority and partnership collide. You may feel challenged by someone close to you, or you may challenge authority yourself. Public identity and private agreements must realign. If you have been performing strength while suppressing truth in relationships, that split becomes unsustainable. Leadership now requires vulnerability. Aquarius. This is identity versus foundation. Mars energizes your 1st house while Uranus disrupts your 4th. Who you are becoming clashes with family conditioning, ancestral expectations, or domestic structure. You may shock others simply by refusing to play an old role. This is individuation at its rawest. The past does not get to define your future. Now we move to the earth and water axis of stability and emotion. Capricorn and Cancer. Capricorn. This tension activates your 2nd and 5th houses. Income, self-worth, and creative expression clash. You may feel pulled between financial safety and authentic passion. A creative risk wants to be taken. The breakthrough comes when you realize long-term stability cannot exclude joy. Cancer. This strikes your 9th and 11th houses. Belief systems and community connections shift. You may outgrow certain social circles as your worldview evolves. A philosophical awakening changes who you resonate with. Emotional security now requires intellectual expansion. Now the mutable polarity of mind and meaning. Gemini and Sagittarius. Gemini. This square activates your 10th and 12th houses. Career visibility meets subconscious shadow. An unconscious fear may surface just as professional momentum builds. You are being asked to clear internal sabotage before stepping fully into public authority. Insight arrives quickly. Integration must follow. Sagittarius. This energizes your 6th and 3rd houses. Daily routines and communication patterns shift. A short conversation may catalyze change. Work systems that feel repetitive may suddenly feel intolerable. Your growth requires upgrading how you speak and how you structure your day. Now the relational and embodiment axis. Libra and Aries. Libra. This activates your 8th and 2nd houses. Shared resources and personal value are in tension. Financial entanglements, debts, or emotional dependency patterns may shift suddenly. You are redefining what you truly own energetically and materially. Balance now demands empowerment. Aries. This strikes your 11th and 2nd houses. Future goals and income streams collide. A group vision may no longer align with your personal value system. You may choose independence over collective comfort. Security built on compromise dissolves. Finally, the axis of refinement and surrender. Virgo and Pisces. Virgo. This square activates your 7th and 1st houses. Partnership dynamics challenge your identity. If you have been adjusting yourself to maintain harmony, you may reach a limit. Relationships that survive this period will do so because they allow individuation. Pisces. The activation lands in your 3rd and 12th houses. Communication and subconscious patterns intersect. Old narratives unravel. Dreams intensify. A sudden realization about how you speak to yourself may change everything. Liberation begins internally before it manifests externally. Across all signs, if you hold planets near 28 degrees of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius, the activation becomes amplified. The closer the degree, the more undeniable the breakthrough.
This is not random disruption. It is precise awakening.
Now we seal this. The Mars-Uranus square is not here to decorate your life with drama. It is here to return you to authorship. When fixed energy breaks, it does not do so quietly. It cracks like ice under pressure. But beneath the crack is movement. Beneath the fracture is flow. The purpose of this transit is simple: to move you from passive endurance into conscious participation. You have tolerated certain structures because they were stable. You have delayed certain truths because they were inconvenient. You have postponed certain actions because they threatened comfort. That era tightens now. But tightening is not punishment. It is compression before expansion. As this energy peaks, remember 3 anchors. Anchor 1. Slow the nervous system. Electricity does not require panic. When intensity rises, lengthen your exhale, relax your jaw, drop your shoulders. Your body must feel safe before your decisions can be wise. Anchor 2. Move the energy physically. Do not let insight stagnate into anxiety. Walk, lift, stretch, clean, rearrange your environment. Change the physical to support the psychological. Uranus in Taurus responds to tangible shifts. Anchor 3. Choose deliberately. If something ends, let it end consciously. If something begins, let it begin intentionally. Avoid dramatic gestures designed only to discharge emotion. Instead, take actions that remain aligned even after the surge fades. Remember, shortly after the square, the Sun aligns with the North Node in Pisces. After disruption comes direction. After fracture comes guidance. You may feel shaken, yet clearer than you have in months. That clarity is the gift. The eclipse earlier this month planted a seed. Mars now applies force. The shell breaks. But what emerges is not chaos. It is you. More honest, more embodied, less willing to shrink. Do not rebuild the old structure out of habit. If something collapses, ask whether it was holding you back from growth. If something ignites within you, ask whether it has been waiting for permission. You are not here to survive comfortably inside outdated patterns. You are here to evolve. Let the lightning illuminate your landscape. Let the fire warm you, not consume you. Let the tension strengthen your wings. And when this surge passes, stand still for a moment. Notice what no longer feels heavy. Notice what suddenly feels possible. Notice where your energy returns. That is alignment. Choose growth over stagnation. Choose truth over comfort. And walk forward as someone who has remembered their own flame.